Okay, we're going to try this again, folks. Welcome, class. It's Professor Hatter here. Gonna try live streaming again here. 1 second here. I'm live again. So I tried earlier in the day, and I'm recording this for live streaming, and had one person on. Thank you, Shane, for coming in. And then Major League Hats just kind of was like, I have 1,000 subs. I'm just going to walk in here and take over your time. It's fine. Don't worry about it. We laughed about it. It was uncoordinated. And so, yeah. So I'm trying this again. And Major League Hats is here. Welcome. We had a good FaceTime session after his live stream talking about the his reveal of the 2020. It's going to be weird to say that. 2020 spring training hats for baseball, and we're going to get into that later in this podcast. I'm trying to make up for last night's lack of podcast or live stream. I had, let me just move this stand a bit here. I was wearing this hat last night, wanted to do a live stream talking about the Iowa caucus coverage, and because for me, I'm very into politics, if you don't know that about me. Very into history, very into politics, and for me, it was opening night. Like, for baseball, when it's opening day, everyone gets excited. I got excited for opening night or opening day with the Iowa caucus. The Iowa Cubs have a Iowa caucus hat that they made last year in August, but I didn't get it. Like I told Major League Hats, I didn't really feel like at this time paying $55 for the hat, taxes, and shipping just to get a hat that I'm going to wear for one night I'm not going to spend $55 for a hat for a one-time event every 4 years. That's just kind of a silly. Just checking. I heard a beep, just making sure everything's okay. But I have my Iowa State adjustable hat, not a dad hat, brand 47, what was it, MVP, because it's a structured front, Velcro back, nice gray, dark gray underbrim. So last night, it was a shit show, to be honest. I had wanted to go live, but there were no results. And I figured, well, maybe I should, talk about the results of opening day for the 2020 presidential election season, but there were no results. It's like ending the first game or it's like, remember, it was the opening game this past NFL season for the Arizona Cardinals and Detroit Lions. They ended in a tie. That's how it was last night. And yeah, there was no results. So it was really like, this is bogus. I'm not gonna do a live stream when there's no results to talk about. Granted, there were more candidates this time around than in 2016. 2016, there were 3, but really 2 candidates. And then this time around, there's like 6 or 7 main candidates to consider. So I get it that, Iowa wanted to do their due diligence and be like, we're taking our time, we want to get this right. But after like 5 hours, it's like, no, something's wrong here, something is bogus. And really what happened, for those of you not in the know-how, that's why you have me to translate it all for you, the app wasn't working. So it's as if, let me put it this way, it's as if when the Astros were trying to when the Astros were cheating and sign stealing, it's as if their cameras weren't working to pick up on the signs. So if their technology isn't working to get the signs to steal, then they can't fully steal the signs. Just like with the app last night, Iowa had this Democratic Party caucus app. You're spinning. Yeah, I'm sure it's a lag here. Sorry about that. Bad Wi-Fi at the Nadel household. So yeah, they had an app to use last night to upload the results from each precinct, because a caucus is not like a regular, you go into a voting booth, you punch in a few names you want, or the one name you want. It's a little bit more complicated. It's pretty much a more visual thing, and it's very complicated. You have to go into like corners of a room to represent like who you want to win, and if a certain group doesn't reach viability, 15% of that location's voters, then that candidate gets knocked off. So let's say of 100 people in a room, so let's put 100 people in a room, and they're voting for the best hat. There's a 5950, a snapback, a dad hat, and a bucket hat. And to win the election, to win that location, that lid store for the votes, each hat has to have, of those 100 people, at least 15 people voting for that hat to become viable to get delegates for later on. So let's say of those four hats, the snapback, 5950, dad hat, and bucket hat, the 5950 only gets 14 votes, and everyone else gets a different number of votes. The fitted hat cannot move on to the next round of voting because they aren't a viable candidate. They don't have 15%. So that's how a caucus works. It's really complicated, and that's why everything got complicated with the app to upload it, because the app wasn't fully tested statewide. So it just became a big shit show, and it took until 4 o'clock today, Central Standard Time, to get just over half the results in. And the yes, I got one person on. The one guy who's in charge, Troy Prince or Price, of the Democratic Party of Iowa, came up and gave like a press conference saying like, "Yep, here's how it's working out," which is shitty. And yeah, he was getting a lot of crap for it, which is deserved, because let's see here, the fitting guy. But I'm just saying that's how it works. Major League Cats. That's how a caucus works. I know you'd get pissed about it, but that's how a caucus works. You have to get 15% of the room to at least vote for you to be a viable candidate to move on to the next round. And we all know that Dad Hat would win that election anyways. So yeah, the problem was, so this caucus was being ran by the Democratic Party of Iowa. Okay, let me put it out there. I'm a Republican. Moderate Republican. Didn't vote for Trump last time in 2016. But it's not that I have anything against the Democrats. It's just that this election, this caucus, was not state ran. This was run by a political organization. Even if it was Republicans running their own caucus, I'd still have a problem with it. So like when I worked at the Board of Elections, we were a non-partisan group, organization, running the election. We had no dog in the fight. I mean, yeah, we had a preference, but by our motto, by our standards, we were nonpartisan and could not give any bias to any one candidate or party. So that's how it should have been ran, by the Secretary of State of Iowa, to run the whole damn show instead of a party, because then there's bias, then there's going to be room for failure, and it's just not appropriate, you know? It's just a big mess. So that's where we're at now. And with 62% of the results in, I am happy that Mayor Pete Buttigieg from Indiana, the South Bend mayor, so far is winning. He's got, what was it, I think 25 or 26% of the votes so far. Jeez. Breaking tonight. Oh yeah, we're at 5 o'clock now. So yeah, Buttigieg at 26%, Sanders at 25, Warren at 18, and then Biden at 15. Very surprised with Sanders and Warren kind of coming in second and third. To be honest, I was expecting Buttigieg to have a good night, good caucus, but winning by almost a full percentage above Sanders, that's huge. Granted, it is the Midwest, and Buttigieg was trying to portray Midwest values, trying to have home field advantage for this, and Sanders is from the northeast, so I'm sure with New Hampshire, everything's going to get flip-flopped, because Sanders is from Vermont, the state next door, and Elizabeth Warren is a senator from Massachusetts, a state below. Yeah, so it's going to be kind of flip-flopped a bit. And then Biden being at 15%, that's actually a little bit higher than I expected, to be honest, because a lot of people thought that Joe was not going to appeal to many people. That's like, why even trying? And I kind of agree. But, Major League Hats, did you have any other questions about the Iowa caucus before I get into a few other political things? Wanted to give some time for questions if the class has it. If not, I guess I'll be moving on. Yeah, boy, yeah, boy, yeah, boy. Long day. I like Joe. Alright, it's simple. Like, I like Ike. I like Joe. So, the next state on the season. So, this is like opening day for the presidential campaign season. No yawning. Well, I mean, it's kind of been a long day, so I can yawn as much as I want. It's my show. I mean, you can, do whatever you want on your podcast, say that nobody cares about anything, and on my show, I can yawn as much as I want to. Amy Klobuchar came from Minnesota. She's another candidate. She's from the northern state of Minnesota, and she came in fifth, a little bit lower than expected. I kind of expected Klobuchar to finish fourth and then Biden, but it got flip-flopped. And then Yang got 10%. So, did he? Or, how many did Yang get? It's not saying on the ticker. Why yawn again? Hold on here. I gotta find the original. So, yeah. Oh, never mind. Yang got 1%. Fuck it. Houston Texan 99. Welcome. Glad we have a second person in class. I'm going over the Iowa caucus first because I meant to do a live stream about it last night, but there was no results to talk about, so I'm doing it today because the results came out at about an hour ago at 4 p.m. Central Time, and Mayor Buttigieg is winning so far. So, I like him. So if you think about the presidential campaign, the election season, as like a baseball season, this was opening day, Iowa. Next on the list is New Hampshire. Next up is New Hampshire, which is a primary. So a caucus is complicated crap, pretty much, where people go, like I said before, they have to vote for the candidates, like, in a room, and, like, go to different parts of the room, stand by their corner for each candidate, and then, figure out who's a viable candidate. A primary is a lot easier. You just go into the voting booth, I want this person, and you're done. So it's going to be a lot easier for New Hampshire. Nevada is the state after, or maybe it's South Carolina that's next. South Carolina and Nevada then are next after New Hampshire. South Carolina the primary state, Nevada the caucus state. Why states are caucuses and are primaries, I don't remember why. And Nevada has said that they're not going to use the caucus app that Iowa was using before. Yeah, because it was a shit show. Houston X99, I was explaining before that I understand that, compared to 2016, when there was like 2 candidates for the Democrats, now there's like 7 candidates. I can understand, taking your time with due diligence, but it took a little bit forever. And the problem was it was the Democratic Party running the election. Even if it was the Republicans running their own caucus, that's a problem. Political parties should not be running these kind of caucuses. It should be state sponsored, because in that way you don't get shit like this. It's more unbiased. Like when I was working at the Board of Elections, we were an unbiased organization underneath the city of Chicago. So it should have been ran by the Secretary of State. What else I was gonna say? So then it's like the first, well, I want to say it's like baseball season, but it's more like football season. To be honest, it's more like football and college football season, where the earlier wins you get, the more it matters. I'll get to the State of the Union in a second. It's a long season. It goes from January until about May-ish. And then even by then, it's like, yeah, we kind of have a good idea of who's going to be the nominee. But sometimes it goes until July. So Iowa was opening day, and got a few more states coming up. Then there's Super Tuesday coming up. I don't remember when, but Super Tuesday is kind of like the All-Star game in a way. Super Tuesday. Oh boy, the mic fell off. My mic, my ceremonic mic. Give me a second to readjust this. I have it hanging over my phone. Super Tuesday 2020 is March 3rd, which means it's not just like, whereas like Iowa was like one state for the night. There's like 20 states on one night. So that's why they call it Super Tuesday, because there's like a shit ton of states that candidates are trying to get the delegates for. There are 15. Yeah, there are 15 states for Super Tuesday this year, not including Illinois. A lot are in the South, including Texas, Oklahoma, Alabama, Virginia, Tennessee, North Carolina, California, Utah, Colorado, Minnesota, Vermont, Massachusetts, and Maine. Those are pretty important states, to be honest. So, yeah, Super Tuesday is going to be an important night for this year. So it's on the TV right now. Let's talk about the State of the Union. Got my presidential hat here, my dad hat style. So it's a great hat. Hold on a second. So I always watch the State of the Unions because it's tradition for me. We have a third person watching right now. Who's number 3? So I always watch the State of the Union because it's the president. No matter who it is, it's the president of the United States of America making a speech. And it is so traditional, and I love it when the Sergeant at Arms is standing on the aisle with the door behind his back, and all of a sudden he just yells out, Madam or Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States, like, introducing the President, and then they walk in, like, hail the chief plays, and, like, everyone's just, there, like, shaking their hands. It's just so fucking cool. I love the pageantry of the State of the Union. And then they start talking. No matter who it is, they start talking. It's like, okay, okay. It sounds like every other day then. Every other day that you're, uh, yes, thank you, Houston Texan. Matt Z, what's up? Wondering if that's the same Matt Z from Fresh Time. Just wondering. I think you need to lie to us instead of being honest. Be a true politician. I know. Because, like with Illinois politicians, like, we lie a lot, and we are pretty scummy and steal a lot of money. Oh, you want to lie? Fitted hats are the best hats ever. Mind blown. Mind blown. That's how I lose. That's how I'm losing votes. It is Matt. Matt, how's Fresh Time going? Everyone, this is Matt Z from Fresh Time. He was on the swap videos a few times actually, but off camera, so it made it more interesting. So this is fantastic. How's it going, Matt? Glad you could be here. You want to liar, Adam Schiff? Houston Texan 99. See, this is politics, and my theory about politics is it's a big wheel of hypocrisy. Everyone gets their turn to lie and look like a jackass. It's just, is it the Democrats' turn? Is it the Republicans' turn? Is it the Independents? Or, whose turn is it to look like a jackass and lie about stuff? Everyone gets their turn at it. So, right now it's going to be Schiff. Maybe in a few years it's going to be a Republican being a lying bastard. It kind of changes hands. Everyone gets their fair shot of looking bad. So, and being called a liar. So that's just how politics works. What was I going to go into? So, presidential hat, and no matter what, even if it was Bush during the war, if it was Obama during the beginning years of that recession, or if it's Trump during, what seems like a cultural civil war, and this divide, they're all gonna say the State of the Union is strong. It's just a tradition. Like, that's the lie of the night, to be honest. I mean, we're still America. We're still better off than most other countries. It's just we have our own individual internal flaws that we have to work on. So, are there plenty of problems? Yes. Are there plenty of good things going on? Yes. Oh yeah, and House Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez from New York has made her statement that she will not be in attendance at the State of the Union tonight. And just like I posted on Facebook, if it's Obama and you're a Republican saying, well, I'm not going because, he's, bad president, he's a Democrat. Dude, shut the fuck up and go to the State of the Union. If it's a Democrat saying, "Oh, President Trump, he's he's a liar. He's a pathological liar, and he's just a bad man." Shut the fuck up and go to the State of the Union. Just go. It's tradition. It for you. It's kind of a contradiction in a way. I'm just thinking about it now. That if if you're like if the Democrats say, "Oh, Trump is going off and is kind of sponsoring and this disunity," then why aren't you showing up to the State of the Union? I get it, you don't like him. Not a lot of people do, but for you to say he promotes disunity in this country, but yet you're not going, so the whole House and Senate aren't united. Do you see what I'm talking about here? It's a contradiction. You're trying to you want to promote unity that the president isn't promoting, but yet you're not going to his speech because you don't like him, so you're just looking like an idiot. And the same thing with Republicans. That one guy, I think he was from South Carolina, that during Obama's, I want to say 2013 or 14 State of the Union. It was probably 14 because I don't think there was a State of the Union in his re-election year. That there was one guy during Obama's State of the Union yelled out "lie," and Obama like pointed him right away, and it's like, dude, you don't you get kicked out. I'm sure Obama would have kicked him out personally by his own hands, but it's like you don't do that. If it's a Republican, if it's a Democrat, if it's an independent, if it's a Federalist or a Whig or Democratic Republican president, because that was a thing, you don't interrupt their speech. You don't call them out as a liar. You do that every other 364 days of the year, not during this time, you jackass. So I am glad that no one has interrupted Trump. Democrats have showed some restraint, but then again, those who haven't showed up are just being dummies about it. So yeah, I'm going really political here, but hey, that's kind of what this podcast is going to be about. I also have this Republican, New Hampshire Fisher Cats 2016 on the field, 5950 fitted hat. I'm missing the Democratic one, and I really want that one to complete the set. So that's something I'm in search of. It's a part of my lost hat list. And one more thing about tonight that's going to be annoying as hell. It's not just for a Republican president or a Democratic president. It's every time, every sentence that the president will say, their supporting party will clap for a round of applause for 2 minutes after each sentence. It's like, guys, this spiel would go a whole lot quicker if you just sit down and only applaud when it's like really, really freaking necessary. Like when we're recognizing all the first responders, all the veterans, all the military personnel that are there, any survivors of tragedies or like any other things like that. Or when you're applauding, something that's like really patriotic and uniting, then you can't. But if you're just gonna clap like this economy is good, 2 minutes later, okay, sit down. It's like these State of the Unions will go a whole lot faster if we keep the clapping to a minimum. And when I'm president, I swear, the first time I get to the podium for State of the Union, I'm gonna look at the desk and be like, where's the button to, when I press it, everyone just pops up out of their seats. I just, it seems like everyone like pops out of their seats. Like there's gotta be like a button on the on the podium there that just like shocks everyone up to standing up. So, my 2 cents. I know Houston Texans 99 might still be here, and he had said before on Major League Hass's stream that he was for Trump. My thing about Trump is he has been good with the economy, and now granted, when they say oh, jobs are getting better, it's like I'm still unemployed. I mean, this was before I was at Best Buy, but I mean, he has been doing good. So the numbers are really good. I mean, for him to brag like, oh, the Dow Jones is at an all-time high under me, it's like, okay, that's like saying every morning, today is the longest day that I've been alive. It's like, it's always going to go up, So, and it's kind of funny with Trump that whenever it's like a really, really good day, he brags about how well he's done for the market. But then when there's a really bad day, he's nowhere to be found. It's like, dude, if you're going to brag about doing well for the economy, then be there for the bad days. If you're there for like the really high days, be there for the bad days and say, hey, we've had good days before. Just because we had one bad day doesn't mean we're going into the tank now. That reassurance, just recognizing that, hey, we're going to get out of this, would be nice. But I think he does do that pretty well here and there. When he gave his speech about not starting World War III with Iran, I felt really comforted. I felt he was doing a very good presidential duty there, not to go to extremes. He restrained himself. He did a good job with the Iran situation. Um, but I do have to really, really fight him when he says, "Oh, I've done the best job of any president in 3 years." Like, ever hear of Abraham Lincoln or FDR, Teddy Roosevelt? I mean, you can't say that you're the best ever. It's just too braggadocio. You can say that you've done really good, which there are numbers to prove that he has done a good job. But to add on the braggadocio just does not cut it for me. Sometimes his promises, I'll say, I know I'm getting political here, haven't followed through. I remember within his first 10 days in office, maybe 5 days, he said he was going to send the federal troops, or he was going to send the feds into Chicago to fix the crime-ridden city. There's been nothing happening. We're still getting people shot every 10 seconds, pretty much. I mean, it's like the morning news. Someone got shot overnight. That's at 6 a.m. By 11 a.m., someone got shot at breakfast. By 4 p.m., someone got shot at lunchtime. By 10 p.m., 3 kids got shot during dinner time. We're walking home from school. So it's like, for me, that's not a gun issue. It's more of like they have a reason to use the firearm. It's that there's no good solid structure for people to, rely on a job for. So they go to crime. So that's my spiel. That's why we still have shooting in Chicago. So I'm surprised I still have 3 people after my little spiel there about Trump. So yeah, we'll see how the rest of the campaign season goes. As long as Trump doesn't get 2 more braggadocio, I could vote Republican again. We'll see. Um, but I do want to show off these 2 hats. Speaking of voting, these are vote hats. These are snapbacks, and these are really cool. These came from 2016 New Era. 2016 New Era presidential election collection, and they had a Republican and Democratic snapback version. Those in 2016 and 2012, but I never got those. Those are still on my top lost hat list. So for 2020 now, I'm really excited for New Era to drop the 2020 election lineup. That's going to be exciting. I'm going to be all over those hats when those come out. These are very simple hats. The only difference between these 2 hats, as you can see, this one has a darker vote. It's in like a darker blue. This one's in like a lighter blue. I still got the snapback sticker on. This one is a little basic, plain black under brim and all that. This one is epic. This is why I had to have it. This is a really cool one. This one is American flag underneath. So this is like the coolest American hat I have. And it's all American flag. It's like a really nice material on the inside. And the other really cool thing is, if you can see, if it's backwards, New Era 1 of 100. So this is like a really exclusive hat. This is really cool. So I had to get it. It was on eBay a while ago. It's like $20 or so. So it was a really cool pickup. So that's my spiel with the politics, I guess. Maybe another time I'll give my little take about each of the Democratic candidates, if anyone is interested in that, and kind of give my unbiased. Well, I can't say unbiased, but my perspective on the candidates. I mean, I do try to be unbiased with the elections, but of course, there's some of the candidates that just irk me so much. It's like just trying to mention the F word with some of the candidates just is like, it really gets my blood pressure high. And the F word is not fuck here, it's free. So, yeah, some candidates use that word too often. Going on to the last little notes here. I want to talk about the spring training hats. So I have with my Cubs hats, 2017, the 2018 Pro Light hats, and then last year's honeycomb, or I like to call them pajama hats, because the material is so soft. They dropped the spring training hats today, and most of them looked really cool. Cubs looked really cool. Gonna want to get one of those. White Sox was pretty cool. Astros was really cool. It kind of went retro. I'm gonna look through the website here again to. The ones that really stuck out to me that weren't that great, because for these hats, I told Major League Hats when I was FaceTiming with him that they're essentially doing a clipping mask with the emblem on the front and then the logo in the background. And so some of them, they have enough room to use a clipping mask properly, or to make it look good, but like the Cincinnati Reds is a very thin C logo, the letter C, and they're trying to put like the Mr. Red in the background, the guy with the mustache, the baseball head. I get the concept, but there's not enough room for him. It's like it comes off like really. Let me try to zoom in on it. Like you can like barely see him in the sea, which doesn't really work out too well. So some of the teams that I didn't like, it was just mainly that they didn't have a lot of room for their clipping mask of the logo. White Sox was good. Mets was okay. Phillies was decent. Red Sox was kind of boring, actually. They didn't have a lot of room. The Atlanta Braves did really good. They didn't have a lot of room for their clipping mask, but they did pretty well, I think, with the tomahawk in the background. I like it. I might get one. Might. We'll see. As Major League has pointed out, the spring training patch is not on the right side, it's on the back, which I like. I'm not the biggest fan of the patches on the side of the hat, unless it's for like a certain reason. Also, it's just that with the recent spring training patches, they're that plastic. I'm not too picky about it, but having that much plastic on the side just kind of felt weird. The Tigers hat was really good. Major League Hats lost his probation because of that hat. Padres hat was really cool. Mariners hat looks like every other year, pretty much. The Brewers one was pretty good. Indians was for me. The Rockies was a good one. Rangers was good. Orioles was like a weird like double entendre thing or double visual of like the swinging bird and then the bird inside the bird. It just looked a little weird. Of like like the bird's head is up here, but it's like in the middle of the body, so it's like a weird displacement. Twins was kind of boring. It's just the Twins logo inside the state's kind of boring, and I'm sure I've seen it before. Diamondbacks was pretty good. Kansas City did not have a lot of room to work with their clipping mask, so didn't work out that great. Angels was pretty good. Excuse me. Toronto, pretty good. Marlins was also bad. Tampa Bay was decent. And Nationals, not too bad. St. Louis was bad, but that's just because they're the Cardinals, so it's always a bad hat for the Cardinals because they are the Cardinals. Let me switch news here. So that is just gonna about wrap it up. I meant to do some video recording today for new hat reveals and some other stuff like my Black Sox scandal video, but lost track of time. I was talking with Major League Hats for most of the afternoon. which was totally fine. I loved it, but my plans went awry. Peace. Peace next to 99. Thanks for stopping by. And your thoughts and comments, too. So yeah, I'm at work the rest of the week during the day primarily, so we'll see how much I can get recording done. I have 2 hats coming in tomorrow that I'm picking up from a friend. So that's gonna mean I'm gonna be 6 hats behind. And then I have another hat coming in, and then one from eBay, and another one from this guy from the 5950 Fitted Hat Society group on Facebook. I bought a hat from a guy from Canada, the Cubs hat. So I'm still waiting for that one. So we'll see how it all goes. And my plan, to be honest, is to kind of take a break from buying hats. Because nothing that's like really screaming out to me, like, get me now. Well, the Cubs hat. But my plan is to, because my mom and sister are going to spring training in a few weeks, and my plan is to have them get me a hat. So that's what my hope is. Because I didn't get to go. I was supposed to go last year, but not going this year. I get it, but give me a hat while you're there, please. That'd be nice. That's pretty much it. That's sort of my big updates that here and there. Today I dropped a video of hats number 190 through 193. Wednesday will be another hat reveal video, and then Thursday will be another video at 1 p.m. and then Friday will be another video at 1 p.m. Then we'll see what we do from there. So yeah, any video ideas you guys ever have for me, let me know, because on this channel we care about everything. We might not have an interest in it or a high interest in it, but we do care about it. Was this updated? Another thing, 27% for Buttigieg, but I think that's ABC rounding up from 26.9% to 27%, which I get it. Round up the number, but it just kind of gives it off a different vibe then. So yeah, again, let me know if you in the classroom have an idea for hat video you want me to do, because I got plenty of hat diversity going on here. I'm always interested in what you guys are thinking about for maybe a hat idea. And, yeah, it'll be, kind of cool. So, thank you very much for watching today. Major League Hats, Matt Z from Fresh Time, and then Houston Texan 99. And all of you for watching the replay. And if I lost you during my political rants, that's fine, whatever. I don't do too many political rants here, but if it's on my hat, I talk about it. So, if the president's on my hat, I'm talking about it. So yeah, so I'm just like that. As always, thank you for stopping by in class. Class is dismissed. Bye, everyone.